Important concept is there in the Spring framework is what? IOC container, right? So what is it IOC container will do? Automatic object creation and managing the logic, and followed by, so what does DI will do? Dependency injection, okay? Right, what does DI do, guys? Can you read about the IOC container used to create an object? So rather than developer creates an object, the framework will create an object and developer can focus on the business logic. Listen, the developer can focus on business logic rather than developer creates an object and will tell the framework to create a bean object for the classes, and developer can focus only on the business logic rather than creating an object and other things, okay? And also automatically the object will get created and it is wired. Wired means what? Auto wiring injection will be done, and it allow the developer to focus rather than you need not to worry, developer need not to worry about creation of object and making a dependency. You need not to worry. What it can do, IOC container will take care of creating an object and injecting the dependencies, wiring the objects, everything will be taken care by the IOC container. You need not to worry about it. Only focus is you can write your logic, write your business logic of your application. What is DI stands for? Spring containers will inject the object, okay, based on the constructor based injection, setter based injection, or field based injection. It is going to inject the one object inside the another object. So that is a second one, guys, okay. Then we have another core concept, guys, that is not there in the content, which is going to be AOP, aspect oriented programming. Aspect oriented programming, which is not there, I have not included in the content, but it is a part of the core library, guys, okay. It is part of the core library. What is AOP stands for? Aspect oriented programming, right? What is the help of aspect oriented programming, guys? It is going to consent, okay. Consent means what? Right, listen to me. Now when you do a task, you will focus to do only one task, correct or wrong? Yes or no, guys? You are doing online banking. What is your focus? What is your business logic? You wanted to do a transaction, correct or wrong? Yes or no? Now you need a OTP. Are you clear? To complete the logic or to complete the business logic, you need a OTP, correct or wrong? What will happen? You will distract and you will open your mobile phone and see your OTP and it will distract, correct or wrong? So what is the concept? You wanted to do a transaction, but the message is coming. You this we call them as a cross-cutting concern. Cross-cutting concern means what? You do a job, while you are doing a job, if anything extra you wanted to do it, that is a cross-cutting concern. Cross-cutting concern. Now, when you write a logic, guys, please listen to me. What is it AOP will do is, you will write you will execute your code, business logic. By the time, if you wanted to do any other additional task, that can be written inside the AOP, guys. Are you clear? That is what it is said, right? You try to execute your business logic. While executing a business logic, you wanted to do extra task, anything, additional task, anything, such as logging Spring security or logging or authentication will be takes care by the AOP, guys, okay. So you will be executing only the business logic. Extra work if it is there or additional work you wanted to do, you give it to AOP. AOP will take care. AOP will take care of doing an additional task. That is not part of your content. I have not included it. So without AOP also you can learn the Spring framework, but behind the scenes AOP some other places will be working, but you that's the reason, since a day of number of days and the content is content, important control alone kept it, okay. But AOP, keep it in mind. And Spring Spring framework uses an modularity. Modularity means what, guys? Modules. Spring security diagram Spring framework diagram, did I told you? I've shown you or not? What are the modules you have seen? So what are the modules you have seen? Spring core, Spring context, Spring core module, Spring data and integration modules. So we wanted to have a look at one more time about the Spring framework, okay. Spring, then what is it I told you, guys? Spring modules, okay. So now I'll be going on and showing you the modules with the images. Now this is the image, guys, okay. Please Keep it in your mind. Right. Please have a look at your image, and please remember the images. Okay. This is very important. So these are all the modules of the Spring Framework. Everybody, are you clear? So what are the module? Core modules are available. Core container modules are available. Then you have a AOP, aspects, instrumentation, and the messaging. And you have data access and integration in Spring. Okay, I'll tell you what are these modules. We'll be doing it right now. What is the sound? Oh, okay. All right, everyone. Is it okay? Right. Now listen to me. Listen to me. Data access integration is there, right? So what is it? The help of this module? JDBC connections, database connections. With this module, you can connect with the Spring Framework application. When you develop an application using a Spring Framework, if you want to connect with the database, you have to use a data access and integration module. Are you okay? You need not to use all the modules in the application. Whichever is required, you can use. Right now, we are learning on the core concept. You need only the core modules. Later, we'll be developing a Spring web application by the time you need a web module. After that, the web application needs a database. You need a database and integration module. I hope it is clear. Correct or wrong? These are all the modules. Keep remember what are the modules you have. It might be asked in the MCQ. It might be asked in the MCQ. So data access integration. Keep this diagram remembered. Okay? Are you okay with this? I think I've covered the content, isn't it, everybody? Come on, everybody. We have covered the content. So the basic introduction about the Spring Framework is done. Right? So I'll be marking this as what? I'll be marking this as a covered content. Okay? Right. What is a why Spring? Okay? Why Spring already I've given introduction. Correct or wrong? Then will we move on to what other topics. Okay? What is a Spring Framework architecture, guys? Did I show you the module or not? This is the Spring Framework architecture. Are you okay with this? The modules, what is there inside the Spring Framework is the architecture. Okay. So I have covered that content also. So almost all of the content were covered. Now we have to go for coupling. Right. What is a coupling? Right. So now listen to me. What is the concept of coupling? How one object is tightly, it is interconnected or dependent on each other. Are you clear? Object coupling means what is the meaning, everybody? If two objects are there, Java objects are there, how it is dependent on each other. How it is dependent on each other. So you remember already we were doing a composition and aggregation. Is it a relationship or not? Two objects were in the relationship as a relationship. Correct or wrong? So composition is what? Composition is an example for what? Tightly coupled objects. Tightly coupled objects. What is a tightly coupled object? Strongly coupled object. What does it mean? If I delete the parent object also, it will delete the child object. That is a composition. Are you okay? Right, guys. When you create an application, Spring Framework, try to create an application with that loosely coupled application, guys. Are you okay? Do you want me to give some extra information about it? Spring Framework used to create a loosely coupled application. Are you okay? How the Spring Framework will create a loosely coupled application? Because of the IOC container and the DI. What is IOC container DI will do? What makes a Spring application loosely coupled application, guys? Very good. Right. So what is it? There are two types of application. One is going to be tightly coupled application. Tightly coupled application. The second one is going to be the loosely coupled application. What is the reason? What is the difference between loosely coupled and a tightly coupled application? Coupled object coupling means it's so easy to understand how two objects are dependent on each other. Object coupling means what? Object coupling means how, very important, how objects are dependent on each other. Dependent on each other, right? Each other, right? One is going to be what? Tightly coupled application. What is a tightly coupled application? Listen to me, very important. This concept you have to understand in order to understand the Spring framework. What is the advantage? Why is the Spring framework? You will understand. Okay. What does it makes a application tightly coupled, guys? Because of the right. What makes the application tightly coupled? You tell me. What makes the application tightly coupled? Which is going to be composition. What makes the composition, guys? Creating an object with the new keyword. It makes the application very tightly coupled. Okay, are you okay with this? That's what composition, correct or not? What will happen? Tightly coupled application means what? If you delete one object, okay, if you delete one parent object, right, parent object and associated parent object associated child object also going to get deleted. Child object is also going to get deleted, guys. So going to get deleted. So this is the concept of what? Tightly coupled application. Okay. So composition makes the tightly coupled application. So inside the Spring framework, we should not create any object with the new keyword. Are you okay with me? Inside the Spring application, Spring framework does not or not recommends you to create any of the object with the new keyword. Why? Because it makes a tightly. But main objective of Spring framework is what? It wanted to make the loosely coupled application. Right? Spring framework is not recommending you to create an object with the new keyword. Are you okay with this? Good. So what is a loosely coupled application, guys? It's going to be the aggregation. What I'm going to do? Right, what is going to do, guys? What makes the application loosely coupled, guys? One is going to be try to create an aggregation, guys. Okay, create an object, creating object and managing the object by managing the object by IOC container and DI. Are you clear, everybody? Spring framework makes the application loosely coupled because of the IOC container and DI is going to manage your object, guys. It is going to inject also. If it is dependent object, if you need any of the object, it needs another object and that object will be injected via dependency injection. Are you okay with this? Right? Framework will create an object and manage inversion of control. So because of that, your Spring application becomes a loosely coupled. If you delete a parent object, still associated child object will be existed. Right? So why industry recommends you to use an, what is the difference? Okay, what is the difference? Loosely, if you make your application loosely coupled, what is the advantage? Let's go ahead and understand. Okay, ready or not? So morning session, I wanted to keep the theoretical part. Okay, loosely coupled application versus tightly coupled application. What is the difference? Why do we wanted to make a loosely coupled application rather than the tightly coupled application? What is the reason? Let's go ahead and understand, guys. So what does it says? Loosely coupled, tightly coupled application. It's a foundational concept for software design. Are you okay? It's a software design concept, guys. Okay. It affects the flexibility, scalability and maintenance. Okay, we'll discuss about it. Okay, so what is it if it loosely coupled application, guys? What are the advantages? Can you look at it? Loosely coupled and tightly coupled. What is it? The components means objects are tightly coupled each other, tightly coupled application. Loosely coupled means objects were not tightly coupled and it is, if you delete one object, still other object can exist. Testing. If it is a loosely coupled application, testing becomes easy. You can test your components or you can test your classes and objects isolated way, which means what? One object, one class at a time you can test. Right? While testing, you need only one class. Right? Dependent class is not required if it is a loosely coupled application. If it is a tightly coupled application, you need both the classes, both the objects. Are you okay? Please listen, this is very important. So Testing is becomes easy when it is becomes a loosely coupled. Tightly coupled means you need the full, which means what? Two classes you want. One class at a time you can't test. Isolated way you can't test. Scalability. If it is your application is a loosely coupled application, it can be scaled and extended. Which means what? You can extend the features very easily. New features. Okay? Are you okay? Right. If it is a tightly coupled application, if you make changes, the code is going to become an even more, give you the more bugs. Okay. Scalability is done. Communication. Via interfaces, you can communicate and you have to make a method calls. Okay. Maintainability. You need a minimum maintenance when the changes comes, and you need a lot of code is going to changes. It is gonna, in fact, it is gonna break the code if you try to change any existing code. Okay. Okay. So what are the reasons you wanted to go for loosely coupled application? You can test your objects individually, right? If it is a tightly coupled application, you need two classes. The entire application, you need to test your application. But if you use loosely coupled, you can test your classes individually one by one without other classes, dependent classes support. Then second one, scalability. You can scale and extend. Communication becomes easy. Maintenance becomes easy. So scalability, testing, and the maintenance becomes easy for you when you make your application loosely coupled. I hope you are looking at it. What is the difference between loosely coupled and tightly coupled application? Did I made you to understand or not? Have I? Right. Very good, guys. Okay. Then I have covered the object, the coupling problem. All of them is covered right now. So until this, it is covered. So now dependency injection and its types. Tell me. Dependency injection means what? Who, see, simple guys. Who makes the object? Who will be making an object in the Spring Framework? Container makes an object. Correct or wrong? Correct or wrong? Right. If one object, I have two objects, guys. Okay. The members of the instance member gets created in the object 1. Instance member gets created in the object 2. Correct or wrong? If object 1 wanted to call the object 2 members, how it can call? Object 1 wanted to call the members of the object 2, how it can call? It should create an object of, inside the object 1, we have to create an object of 2 class and we have to call the members, isn't it? Right? If the object are created by you, you can do that. Has an inheritance, you can do that. But objects are created by container. We need to ask the container also take an object of one class, inject inside the another class. Are you clear right now what is a DI? Are you clear what is a DI? Now, how do you instruct the container to do that? How do you need to tell the container after created object 2 is got created, take the object 2 and inject inside the object 1 while object 1 is getting created. How do you instruct? How do you instruct? You have to follow one of the injection type. What is it? Setter or constructor. You have to use a setter or constructor, right? You will be creating in object 1 class, you need an object 2. So you will create a constructor and you will keep a constructor injection. Are you clear? Are you clear right now? After making a constructor, you go to the configuration. Go to the configuration. At configuration level also you have to tell in the XML. In the XML you have to pass a constructor. While making a bean object of object 1, it has an argument constructor. So in the XML, while you are creating a object 1, you have to pass a one constructor. What is a constructor? You need to pass a reference of what? Object 2. So that what you need to do at the configuration level, constructor argument name equal name ref equal to object 2. You have to give this. So you have to do two things. What is the first thing? At code level, you have to enable the injection, either constructor or setter. After that, you have to go to the configuration level and you have to pass either a constructor to inject the other object or you have to call the setter to inject the other class object. Are you okay with this? Are you clear? What are the types of injection we have? What are the types of injection types we have, guys? One is a constructor based injection Another one is a setter based injection. Did I covered it yesterday? Right? So now injection also call it as what? Wiring. Injection is also call it as what? Wiring. So wiring, we can wire the objects. Dependency injection, wiring the object manually or automatically. What is a manual? What is a manual? Yesterday, yesterday I have written a code. Between the constructor, we were injecting the object, isn't it, everybody? Right? I can show you. Manual means what, automatic means what. That is what the yesterday's topic it's going to be. Now, this is a manual or automatic? Tell me, is this a manual process or automatic? This is automatic, right? What could be the manual? This auto wire will not be there. We have to this is the manual, isn't it? Automatic means what? Auto wire we have to use. Are you okay? Did you got the concept now? Auto wired, manual wiring. So this is what we have done in the previous class, last class. So where to start? I got a confusion because you have to tell me from where to start. If I repeat the same, you will get bored. From where to start, where I wanted to start, you have to tell me, because what is your level of understanding, accordingly will go, right? So this is called as what? Now tell me, what are the types of dependency injections? Two types. One is going to be constructor based injection, another one is going to be setter based injection. Are you okay with this? Either XML based configuration or Java based configuration, you will be doing the either constructor based injection or setter based injection. You know Java based injection, right? Manual injection. I'll be showing a demo for you guys, all of them, and we'll be looking at it. I'll keep it very simple and make you to understand, right? Now, bean scopes. We have to understand about bean scopes, guys. We have not done it. Bean lifecycle methods you need to know. Bean lifecycle method. What is a bean lifecycle? Bean means what? Object. So what is a bean lifecycle? Human lifecycle is what? Till we born, till die, what are the phases we are going through? It's a lifecycle. Are you clear? Whatever the pain that we, happiness that we gone through in our lifetime, this is going to be the life cycle. Okay, that is our human life cycle. In the same way, when the container creates an object, are you clear? Listen to me. What is a bean life cycle, guys? When the container creates an object till it get destroyed, whatever the phases it goes through, that is called as bean life cycle method. Bean life cycle methods. Bean life cycle. Till the object gets created, till it is gonna get removed or it is gonna destroy from the memory, what are the phases or what are the methods is going to call inside it, that is called as the life cycle of the bean object. Life cycle of the bean object. I'll be explaining to you later bean life cycle alone. I'll keep it not marked as completed. I'll keep it like this. Okay. Now, what is a scope? Bean scope. What is a bean scope? Scope means generally what? Scope means what? How far it is accessible. Scope means what? Scope of the object is how far it can be accessible is the scope. But here in the bean scope, there are four type actually. One is going to be singleton. Second, very important question. Singleton. Second type is going to be prototype. Third type is going to be request. Fourth type is going to be session. Okay. Can we go ahead and see the configuration? Sorry. Scope. Can we go ahead and see the scope? But we asked to cover only two. The remaining two doesn't require, right? Can I go ahead and write and explain them, guys? Bean scope. Okay. So now you can go ahead and understand. There are scopes are available. We'll learn about the bean scope and go for one by one. Okay. First one is going to be what? Singleton. The second object is going to be the prototype. Third one is going to be application. But application session we don't cover right now. Later we'll see. Okay. The bean scope can be a singleton or prototype or application or session, guys. Okay, what is a singleton? Listen to me, what is a singleton? If the bean is a scope is a singleton, what will happen, guys? Only one object will be written always. Only one object, only one instance of the object, okay? Only one instance of bean will be available. Instance of bean will be available. Bean will be available. When you will be available, when you ask the container to, when you ask container to, when you ask a container always returns the, container always returns what? Always returns the same object. Are you clear? Container always returns the same object. Now what is a prototype, everybody? What is a prototype? Every time requested, okay? When we request any, when we request, okay? When we request a bean from container, container, what is container will do? Container will create a new bean object, okay? Every time, okay? Container will create every time when we request a bean from a container, container will create every time a new object, bean object, new bean object and returns. I hope it is clear, everybody. Are you clear? When we ask a bean, okay, request, it is not request, when we ask a bean from a container, from the container, what does it do, guys? Container will create every time will create an container will create container every time will create container will every time create a new bean object and returns. That is a prototype. Okay, what is the next one? Session, right? Application session, sorry, it is going to be request, guys. Okay, I'm so sorry, it's going to be a request. So these are all the things, session, request, session. Fifth one is going to be the application, guys. Okay, application. Clear? Every request, new bean object is going to get created. Every HTTP request, new bean object is going to get created. What is a session? When the session gets created, for every session, it is going to return a one bean object. Are you okay? These things we did not know. Only portion is we wanted to understand the scope of the beans. Are you okay? Right. What is a singleton, everybody? Okay. I want a code to be written right now. Let me keep the code very simple, guys. Okay. Please listen, everybody. Now, I have commented all the lines of code. Now listen to me. What is a bean object I'm asking the container to create? Come on, everybody. What is a bean object I'm asking the container to create? Assessment. Okay. Assessment is a class and I'm asking the container to create a bean object for the assessment class. Are you okay? Right. What is the object? What is the ID? I'll tell you, guys. Allow me some time. Right. It is going to create an assessment object and it is going to return. I hope it is clear, everyone. Yes or no? Right. Now it is going to create a bean object and it is going to return. Now let's go ahead and see what is a singleton, what is a prototype. Okay. Now I'll be going ahead and given one more tag called as what? I'll be going ahead and giving in one more tag called as what? Scope. Scope equal to singleton, guys. Okay. Singleton. So let's go ahead and give it. Scope is going to be singleton, everybody. The bean of the scope is going to be singleton. Now, after making it a singleton, what container will do? The scope is singleton. The assessment, only one object will be created inside the container, per container. Are you okay? Singleton means what? Only one instance of assessment object will get created inside the container, guys. Are you okay? Right. Now I'll go to the main method. I try to get an assessment object. Can I go ahead and get an assessment object? How do I get the bean from the container? AC dot get bean method of what is the object I'm going to get it? Assessment dot I'm requesting bean to give me an one assessment object. Correct or wrong? Assessment class object. Will you agree? I'm asking the container to return me the bean object of type is assessment. Inside the container there is one object got created, assessment. What I do, I'll be storing it in a one reference, guys. Okay, I'll be storing it in a one reference. Right, I'll go ahead and store it as an A1. Right, I'll go ahead and give an sys out s out. I'll go ahead and print an A1 dot hash code, guys. Okay, now I'll be getting in one more object, guys. Okay, I'll be getting in one more object of type is what? Reference is going to be A2, and it is going to be A2 dot hash code. Now let's have a look at the hash code value of the singleton, everybody. Can I go ahead and run the code? I'll be running the code right now. What is the output that is coming? Can you check and let me know? What is the hash code value? Is it going to be same or not? Why is it coming as same? Why is it coming as same? Why container always when I ask for an assessment object, it gives the same object. Hash code is same, right? It is giving the same object. It is giving the same object. Why is it so? Because your scope is what? Your scope is what? Singleton. If the scope is singleton, the bean of the scope is singleton, there is only one bean object of type is assessment gets created inside the container. When you ask a container to give an assessment object, it always returns the single object. Always returns the single object because it will make only one object inside the container. Scope is singleton. I hope it is clear. Everybody? Everyone? Right? Have you understood? Copy here. Again, I'll make one more copy, guys. Let's see A1, A2, A3. Right? So let's go and see. Is it the same object? It is returning in same hash code or different hash code. You can have a look at it. Same object, right? Whenever I ask a container to return me the assessment object, always returns the same object because the scope is singleton. Are you clear? Right. What will happen if I go ahead and give it as a prototype? Prototype. Are you clear, everybody? Come on, everybody. Do you agree? Prototype I made. If I go ahead and run the code, what is going to happen? Is it the same hash code or different hash code? If it is a different hash code, prototype means what? Every time when I ask a bean, when I ask a container to give me the bean, it creates a new objects. Right? Every time when I ask a container to give me the bean, if the scope is prototype, it will make a new assessment object every time when I request, guys. Okay? I'm asking the container to give me what? I'm asking the container to give me a assessment class bean. Since the scope is prototype, it creates a container, will create a new bean, one object, assessment object, and returns the object. That is why we got the hash code first one. Are you clear? When I ask the again, when I ask the container to give me the assessment class bean, it'll every time when I ask, it is going to create a. Every time when I ask the container to return the bean, guys, okay, ask the bean, it is going to create a new object and it is going to return. Object, bean, both are same. Have you understood the concept between them? Have you understood the concept between them? Yes or no? Good, very good. Now, listen to me, guys. When I do not give anything, what is a default to scope? Did I give the scope, everybody? Did I give the scope here? No, there is no scope here. What is a default scope of a bean? Default scope of a bean. Let's go ahead and check whether it is a prototype or it is going to be a singleton. Let's see. Is it a singleton or prototype? So by default, the bean object scope will be singleton. If it is singleton, when you do not specify any scope while you are creating a bean object, by default singleton, it will create only one object. When you ask the container to get, when you ask the container, it always returns the same object. What is a prototype? What is a prototype? Every time when you ask a container to give the bean, it is going to return the new beans. Okay, are you clear? Are you clear? Right. I have a question. Let's see dependency injection. Through injection, what is going to happen? Now tell me guys, what I am trying to do here on these two lines? Come on everybody, what I am trying to do here on these two lines? I am going to take the assessment object, I am going to inject inside the trainee object, right? While making a trainee object, we are injecting it through constructor. Through constructor, we are injecting a dependent object called as what? Assessment object inside the trainee object. While I am making a trainee object, I am injecting the assessment object. Are you okay? Are you okay? Good. Now what is the scope of this one, guys? Now what is the scope of this object? If it is a singleton, now tell me what is going to happen, everybody? If it is a singleton, what will happen? Only one copy will be created and that object is going to get injected here. Correct or no? Every time, right? Look at it guys, okay? If I go and create one more trainee object which is going to inject the assessment object, the same object only it is keep injecting in all the other objects. Are you clear? Because of the singleton. Are you clear? Only one assessment object will keep injected in the every trainee object because singleton means only one copy. Right? Now, if I go and make it as a prototype, what do you think that is going to happen? When I go and make it as a prototype, what do you think it is going to happen, everybody? It creates a new object every time. See, I am doing an injection here, right? What will happen? It will create an assessment object will get injected in this the trainee. The second trainee object while it is creating, it will create a new assessment object and inject it. Are you clear about the prototype? Every time when you do injection, auto wiring, the container, since a prototype, the scope is prototype, it creates a new object, assessment object, then inject. It creates a new assessment object, then inject. Are you clear? That is the difference, guys. Scope, have I made you to understand about the scope? Have I made you to understand about the scope? Right. That's a concept of what? Singleton and the prototype, guys. Did I cover the scope? Come on, everybody. Did I cover the scope? So these topics are over. Lifecycle method. Can I show you just a lifecycle method now? Have a look at those lifecycle methods so that this topic also will be completed. Right? What is it? Spring bean life cycle, everybody. This is the life cycle phases and the methods, everybody. Can you have a look at it? Life cycle of a spring, can you look at it? First, container will created. Container will get created. Spring IOC container created and starts the container and read the configuration file, either XML, Java, XML or Java. It is going to read the configurations, bean configurations. You can define the bean configuration in XML between the bean tag. You can define the bean configuration using an @ component. Are you listening to me? Are you listening to me? Please listen to me. First one, how does the bean definition? So listen to me. The configuration is written in XML and Java, but bean definition you can define using an XML annotation Java config. What is XML? Between the bean tag, if I define the bean definition, it is going to be XML bean definition. If I go and use an @ component, it is going to be the annotation. If I go and use an @ config, @ bean, it is going to be Java configuration. Are you okay with this? Right. Bean instantiation. See, after the container is get created, it is going to read the configuration file and the bean definitions will be read. Then after, it is going to create the bean object, guys. Okay. Whatever the bean we asked to create from the configurations, it is start creating it. Okay. Spring creates the bean instances using a constructor or factory method. Okay. After the bean is get created, dependency injection will happen. Are you clear? Are you clear? Come on, everybody. Dependency injection is happen, either a constructor or setter or field based injection. Then followed by, it is going to call one interface, guys. Okay. It is going to call an interface. Then after object gets created, it is going to call the post construct. Are you clear? Come on, everybody. After creating a bean object, it is going to call the post construct. Okay. After calling it, these are all the life cycle method keeps calling it, guys. After the bean is get created, it is going to call the post construct. After property set, then init method. So we'll be discussing all of this later. Bean post processor hook is available. Bean ready for use. Once the bean is get created, it can be ready for use. Then followed by, before the object get destructed, it is going to call this methods. Then the bean is going to get destructed. Very wonderfully it is written here, right? Till the bean gets created, till get destroyed, what are the phases it goes to, I'll tell you, right? So very important. I'll keep it in very simple terms so that you will understand, guys. Okay. So before the scope, you need to learn about what bean life cycle, guys. Okay. I'll keep it in simple term. Now what will happen, everybody? Number one, what does it do? When you run the Spring application, container is going to create it. Correct or wrong? Container is going to create it. After the container get created, now container what will do? Container read the configuration file. Reads the config file. Bean config file. Very important. Bean config file. So bean config file, how you write, guys? Bean config file can be written using an, come on, 2.1. One is through XML bean configuration or the bean configuration written on a Java configuration. Are you clear? Then after reading the bean configuration, it is going to read the container, will read what, guys? Will read the bean definitions. Bean definitions. How do you write a bean definitions, guys? Come on, everybody. How do you write a bean definitions? One is using an XML, you would have written the bean definitions. How? Between the bean tag, XML bean tag, you will define the bean definitions. Will you agree? Between the bean tag, you will define the bean definitions. Are you clear? Clear? Right. The bean definitions, you'll write it inside the bean definitions. Okay. Bean tag, bean tag. Now, how do you write another way, guys? By using an annotation. What is annotation, guys? Stereotype annotations. The bean definitions can be used in the stereotype annotation. What is it? @component, @component, and plus component along with the plus @component scan. Do you remember? Come on, everybody. Component scan. Using that, you can do a bean definition. 3.3. What is a 3.3? It's gonna be @bean method. Are you clear? Come on, everybody. Bean definitions, are you okay? So container gets created. Read the configuration file in either in XML or Java configuration, and the bean definition could be written in different forms. Okay. So then what is the next one, everybody? Fourth step. Then bean gets created. What do you see in the bean definition? What are the bean you have asked to create? Bean is gonna get created, guys. Okay. Are you clear? Bean gets created. Are you okay with this? Right? Bean gets created. How bean will get created? Container will read the bean definition. Container will read the bean definitions and creates an bean objects by calling the constructors. How does the object gets created? After the object is got created, it is going to call the constructor. Container will create an object for those classes and it will call the constructor. What is the fifth one, everybody? What is the fifth one? After the bean is get created, post bean, right? Post bean means what? After the bean is get created, what do you want it to do? That is a post creation of bean. Post creation of bean. After the bean is get created, what do you want it to do? That you can do it with the post creation. Okay. What is the last one? Before the object is going to get destroyed. Before bean object is gonna get destroyed. Bean object is gonna get destroyed. Is going to get destroyed. What do you want to do? That you can write it inside the destroy method. What is the last one, guys? Last one, the container is gonna do something. Okay. Now listen to me. Pre-destruction, post construction. Right. Now listen to me, everybody. It is gonna call those methods, guys. Okay. Now after the bean gets created, if you wanted to do something, you can use this method and you can do some task, guys. Okay. Are you clear what I'm talking about right now? After your object is got created, immediately after the bean object gets created by the container, immediately if you wanted to do something, you can use post construct annotated method and you can do some task, or you can use this method. This method will be executed after the bean object is get created, or you can call the init method. See, there are three different ways you can execute certain logic after the bean is get created. Those three ways are here. Are you clear? Before object is going to get destroyed, if you wanted to do anything, then you can use these three methods and you can do that, guys. Okay. Is that clear? Come on, everybody. I'll be telling you this later sometime. Maybe you can, in the demonstration we'll see. I'll be explaining about this lifecycle method. Then we'll see. Okay. Now what does it do, guys? What are these methods will do? Your bean is going to or about to expire. Your bean is about to destroy. By the time if you want to execute anything, that you can write it inside this method and you can do certain logic, guys. Okay. Your bean is going to about to get destroyed. You wanted to execute something. Then you can use either of this method. What are the method? @pre-destroy annotation. Then you can use a destroy method, or you can use any of these three approaches and you can do certain logic to be executed. I'll show you. Allow me some time. I'll show you. Are you okay with this? Yes or no? In between something is happening. What is it? Between the after bean creation, before the bean is get destroyed, and something you want to execute means you can execute in this bean lifecycle method, guys. Are you okay? Come on, everybody. Come on, everybody. Are you okay with this? So now what is this method we're going to do? After the bean processor hooks, okay, what you can do? If you want to execute any logic between what? After the bean is got created, before the bean get destroyed, if you want to execute anything, you can go ahead and execute them, guys. Are you clear? That logic you can write it inside the method and you can execute. Simple. Hooks. What is a hooks, guys? What is a hooks? Every life cycle happens. If you want to execute any logic, you can execute. Right. I'll be telling you, I'll showing you later. So now what is it, guys? The bean is ready to use. The step number 7 is going to be what? Bean is ready to use, and after bean is got used, then it is going to get destroyed. So this is going to be the step number 7 and this is going to be the step number 8. Right. Hopefully it is clear or not, everyone. Guys, don't worry. These many life cycle method is there or not? Is there? How do you remember all of them? All of them. It's quite difficult. Quite difficult for you to remember always all the methods. But you need to understand the life cycle flow. Container is getting creating, unloading a configuration, and it is loading the bean definitions. After bean definitions, it is going to create the respective beans inside the container. Are you okay with this? Yes or no? Right. So it is trying to create a bean. After reading the definition, it creates a bean objects. After the bean is get created, it is going to, if you want to execute any custom logic, are you listening? After the bean get created, post to the bean creation, if you want to execute any logic, you can use these annotations or methods to execute some custom logic. Are you okay? Right. What else you can do? Then after that, destroy, it is ready to use, and after the bean is got executed, created, if you wanted to do anything else, you can execute in this method, guys. Bean post processor hooks. Okay. Then after that, bean is ready to use. The bean that we are using right now, right? All it went with this life cycle. All the bean that we are creating inside the container is went through all the life cycle method. Okay. Then finally, what is it? The bean is going to destroy. The container is going to kill the bean or remove the bean from that container. So what will happen? What will happen? If you want to execute any logic, you can execute inside. Are you okay with this? After a bean get created, if you want to execute any logic, post processing, post bean creation process. Okay. Now before the object is going to get destroyed, if you want to execute any logic, pre-destroy. Before destroying, you wanted to execute logic means pre-destroy. Are you okay with the lifecycle method? Okay. Now take a break and come back. Take a break and come back. I'll tell you when what will happen on these methods. How do you use effectively? What is a real-time scenario? We'll use the bean methods, these lifecycle method, and use them. Okay. Come back at 11:30. Go for a break.